All right, everybody, I have finally seen Avatar: The Way of Water, directed by James Cameron.
Stronghold.
As fans, we have been waiting 13 years for the moment that a sequel to Avatar will come out. It's 13 years in the making, and let me get the obvious part out of the way. This movie is so visually gorgeous. If 3D doesn't bother you, please go see it on the biggest screen possible with 3D. It is the best 3D I have ever seen in my entire life. It's amazing in that regard. I know all of you are like, okay, jackass, but how was the movie? I could tell you guys how I personally felt about the movie, but I think it's best that my friend Lord Voldemort tells you guys.
13 years it's been, and yet, here you stand before me, as though it were only yesterday.
Guys, Avatar: The Way of Water is a sequel that feels like no time has passed at all. Honestly, it's so natural in its storytelling. There's so much here just beyond the spectacle, and I don't want to give too much of the plot away. Honestly, I don't know what I should say about the plot, but really, it's a story of vengeance, loss, family, and James Cameron is such a seasoned filmmaker. He knows how to balance all these things in this 3-hour and 12-minute runtime, which I know a lot of you are going to be hesitant about, but let me tell you, even in the moments that are a little bit slow running, you're never really bored because there's always something cool to look at on the screen. That's what I love so much about this movie. It understands how to take that runtime and make it feel like you're just immersed in this world of Pandora at the same time while sitting there. I think Sam Worthington just proved himself to be an incredible actor in this film. I really love the range that he had in opposition to the first film. Jake Sully has just become this like iconic action hero in a big way in this movie without giving much away at all. With Zoe Saldana, there's no reason for me to explain to you guys that she is just incredible in general, but in this film, I'm telling you, she really brought it again, and probably even more so than she did in the first film. I think the greatest thing about this movie, honestly, is it's probably going to change the way that movies are made. It actually revolutionizes film in its visuals and the 3D and a lot of different aspects. It really changes things. This industry is going to look at a movie like this and say, yeah, we need to step up our game and start to utilize a lot of this new technology that James Cameron has played with here. I know some people don't like the 48 frames per second. It does a really nice balance of switching between the 48 frames to the 24 frames. It's so smooth you can hardly even notice it, I'm telling you guys. Now, if you didn't like the first Avatar, will you like this movie? I honestly don't know. If I had to guess, I would say it's probably just not going to be for you. If you're a fan of the first film, however, I think you'll love this movie, and even more so than the first, like I did. I actually am putting this one above the first film, and I love that first film. We did do a review on the first film on this channel, myself and Mr. Jose Espinel on Movie Morning, so make sure you go check that out as well. James Horner's score returns here. It is pretty similar to the score of the first film, but he is just so perfect for this world. I felt a bit hesitant about some of the new characters at first, but the more the movie just built and the more I got to know them, the more I just fell in love with everything going on with them. This movie definitely got me excited for an Avatar 3 without giving too much away here. I'll say this movie's not perfect. It is awesome, but it's not perfect. There is an interrogation scene that I thought could have been chopped down. Part of it was just way too goofy for me, and I just thought that could have been sliced out of the movie, and it ended up being kind of pointless anyway. I think you'll know the sequence that I'm talking about when you see the film. It was just way too 80s, and James Cameron kind of approaches his storylines like an 80s movie. This felt like a pure 80s action movie in so many moments, just with much more stellar visuals. Other than that, there's just not a single shot in this movie that I minded looking at. Environments are very important here too, I think, because the environments, just like I felt about the first film, are all very cool. You like being in all the environments. They all feel very lived in. About the time that you get around to the underwater sequences too is about where the film just really picks up and becomes extremely exciting, and these underwater sequences are like unreal. There are definitely shots in here that I just don't know how James Cameron really pulled off. It's kind of unbelievable, and I'm just so here for it. All right, guys, I'm gonna give Avatar: The Way of Water a must go. I would also recommend, if you have kids, take them. I think they'll have a really good time with it. I mean, definitely make sure they're like ages 12 and up. There are a couple little freaky sequences, I guess, in here, but for the most part, I think your kids can handle it and have a good time with it as well. So definitely make sure they see it. Honestly, if it wasn't for this review, I would have walked out of that theater, bought another ticket, and then went back in again right after the movie ended, because this is like a roller coaster ride that you just don't really want to get off of. At least that was my experience with the film. I hope you guys feel the same way. All right, guys, are you going to see Avatar: The Way of Water this weekend? If you have seen it already, already, please let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the film. Before I get out of here, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. I am Martino, and I will talk to you guys later.